Hello everybody, I hope you're all doing really well. Now today I am going to be reading to you one of my most favourite stories, and this story is Dogger by a lady called Shirley Hughes. Now I really like this story because it reminds me a lot of when I was a little girl and when I was growing up, and some of the different things that this character Dave goes through are similar to different things that happened to me when I was a little girl. So I hope you enjoy the book. Once there was a soft brown toy called Dogger. One of his ears pointed upwards and the other flopped over. His fur was worn in places because he was quite old. He belonged to Dave. Dave was very fond of Dogger. He took him everywhere. Sometimes he gave him rides on a trolley. Sometimes he pulled him along on a lead made of string, just like a real dog. And when it was cold, he wrapped him up in a little bit of blanket. Now and then, Dave's mum said that Dogger was getting much too dirty. She showed Dave how to wash him in a bowl of soapy water. Then they hung him up by his tail on the washing line to dry. Dave's baby brother Joe liked hard toys. He liked putting them in his mouth and biting on them because he was getting teeth. Dave's big sister, Bella, took 7 teddies to bed with her every night. She had to sleep right up against the wall to stop herself from falling out. But Dave only had Dogger. So Dave only had 1 toy in his bed, but his sister Bella had 7. Goodness me, look how squashed she is. One afternoon, Dave and Mum set out to collect Bella from school. Mum took Joe in the pushchair and Dave took Dogger. Next to the school gate, where the mums waited, was a playing field. Some men with ladders were putting up coloured flags. So another word for those coloured flags is bunting. Mum said that there was going to be a summer fair to get money to buy things for the school. Dave pushed Dogger right up to the railings to show him what was going on. Just then, the children started coming out of school. An ice cream van came around the corner playing a tune, and Bella ran up with her satchel. That's like a bag that has a big strap that you wear on your side. So Bella came running up with her satchel flying. "Mum, can we have an ice cream, please?" Mum gave her the money for 2 cones. Joe didn't have a whole ice cream to himself because he was too dribbly. So remember, Joe's the baby. On the way home, Dave walked beside the pushchair, giving Joe licks off his ice cream. That's kind, isn't it? Joe kicked his feet about and shouted for more in between licks. I think he likes the ice cream. At tea time, Dave was rather quiet. In the bath, he was even quieter. At bedtime, he said, "I want Dogger," but Dogger was nowhere to be found. So, Mum looked under the bed, she looked behind the cupboard, and she even searched in the kitchen. She looked under the stairs, and Dave watched anxiously through the banisters. I think he's starting to feel a little bit worried. Joe watched through the bars of his cot. Oh, can you see what's happening in this picture? Bella joined in to look for Dogger. She turned out her own toy box in case he was there, but he wasn't. When Dad got home, he looked for Dogger too. He searched in the shed and down the garden path with a torch. He's looking really carefully for Dogger. But Dogger was quite lost. Dave was very sad when he went off to bed. Bella kindly lent him one of her teddies to go to sleep, but it was not the same as Dogger. Dave kept waking up in the night and really missing Dogger. Poor Dave. The next day was Saturday, and they all went to the school summer fair. The playing field was full of stalls and sideshows. I'm going to put the book up like this so you can have a look at the picture, see all the different stalls, all the different things that are being sold and all the different activities. There was a fancy dress parade. I wonder if you recognise any of these costumes. There was sports with an egg and spoon race, a wheelbarrow race and a father's race. Bella was very good at races. She won the three-legged race with her friend Barbara. So can you see the three-legged race? What they've done is they've tied their legs together so they've got 3 legs between them. 1, 2, 3. Wouldn't you like to go into a race? They asked Dave, but Dave didn't feel like racing because he was missing Dogger. Then another very exciting thing happened to Bella. She won first prize in a raffle. It was a huge yellow teddy bear wearing a beautiful silk bow. He was almost as big as Dave. Dave didn't like the teddy bear at all. At that moment, he didn't like Bella much either because she kept on winning things. He went off on his own to look at the stalls. Poor Dave, he's still feeling so sad. One lady had a toy stall full of knitted ducks and cars and baby dolls and bonnets. And there, at the very back, behind a lot of the other toys was Dogger! Can you see how much they're selling him for? He was wearing a ticket which said 5p. There were a lot of people around the stall. Dave tried to explain to the lady that actually it was his Dogger who'd got lost and somehow been put on the stall by mistake, but she wasn't listening. She looks like she's very busy with all the different people at the stall. He had 3p in his pocket, but that wasn't enough. So Dogger cost 5p and Dave's only got 3p. So he needs 2 more p if he wants to buy Dogger back. He ran to find Mum and Dad to ask them to buy Dogger back right at once. Dave went everywhere in the crowd, but he couldn't see Mum and Dad. He thought he was going to cry. At last he found Bella by the cakes. When she heard about Dogger, she and Dave ran back to the toy store as fast as they could. But something terrible had happened. Dogger had been bought by a little girl. She was already walking off with him. Dave began to cry. Bella ran after her and tried to explain that Dogger really did belong to Dave and could they please buy him back. But the little girl said no. She said that she'd already bought Dogger with her own money and that she wanted him, and she held onto him really tightly. Dave cried and cried, and then the little girl started to cry too. But out of the corner of her eye, she saw sight of Bella's big yellow teddy. She stopped crying and she put out her hand to stroke the beautiful blue silk bow. Then Bella did something really kind. Would you like to swap this teddy for my brother's dog then? She asked. Right away, the little girl stopped crying and began to smile. She howled out Dogger to Dave. She took the big teddy instead and went off with him in her arms. That was so kind of Bella to do that. Then Dave smiled too. He hugged Dogger and he hugged Bella around the waist. Oh, thank you, Bella, he said. That night, Dave had Dogger in bed with him. Bella was practicing her somersaults. Look where she's practicing the somersaults on her bed. Will you miss that big teddy? Dave asked her. No, said Bella. I didn't really like him very much. He was too big and his eyes were too staring. Anyway, if I had another teddy in my bed, there wouldn't be room for me. And she's right. Because do you remember she was squashed right up against the wall with her 7 other teddy bears? And there they are, fast asleep. That was so kind of Bella to do that, and I want you to have a little think. If you can think of something kind that somebody might have done for you. It might have been something that someone in your family has done for you. It might have been something that somebody in your class has done for you. So think about something kind that someone has done for you. Now, I think in another video when we were doing phonics, I showed you my special toy that I used to take around everywhere with me and sleep with me every night. This is Puppy. Do you remember? He's quite worn now. Now, if you like, I'd like you to take a picture of your special toy at home, and you can always get your mum or dad or someone that's a bit bigger than you to send it to me on Class Dojo, and I'd love to have a look at those pictures. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Have a good rest of your day. Bye!